I'm going to be making my first video a rebuttal to Allah is a serpent, Islam is demonic and evil, a video supposedly by Venomfangx, though the narrative is obviously not him. I was originally going to make all of these posts in the comment section for the video, but I then realized that there was no way that they would be approved. There's no cursing, it's just simple disagreement. The video starts with Islamic fundamentalists calling for the destruction of any religion other than Islam. This is not far off from the video saying that Muslims worship the devil. Aren't Christians supposed to vanquish Satan? Christians also condemn people who don't agree with them to death, albeit in a more passive-aggressive way. You're wrong, so you're going to hell. Or, according to Jack Chick, you're going to die twice. Next is a clip of a Muslim woman being beaten by a man in public, preceded by a passage from the Quran stating disobedient women should be beaten. All over the Bible, you find that God hates women. Ladies are unclean for 25% of their lives, found in Leviticus. If a woman is raped but doesn't scream loud enough, she should be stoned to death. This is found in Deuteronomy. Women are supposed to be subordinate to men, should never cut their hair short, and should not speak in public. This is found in 1 Corinthians. The speaker then talks about how if we want the answers to life, we have to go back to the beginning of books, which is Genesis. I'm sorry, but Genesis is not the beginning of books. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of books that were written long before the Genesis myth. Next, the narrator tries to claim that the Serpent of Eden is Allah, the God of Islam. Clearly taking the Bible literally, as many fundamentalist Christians do, the serpent was the father of all snake kind that we find today, since God cursed the serpent to crawl on its belly, found in Genesis 3:14. This is not Allah. Why are you injecting all metaphorical stuff all of a sudden? His evidence that the serpent was the god of Islam is that the Hebrew word used for curse in Genesis was Allah with one L. Is he not aware that though Hebrew and Arabic come from similar roots, they are not the same language? Allah in Hebrew does not equal Allah in Arabic. That's like saying pupitre in Spanish, the word for desk, is actually suggesting that a tray is covered with excrement. Spanish and English had the same roots. The similarities between words does not suggest that they are one and the same. Next, the narrator talks about how the violence in Iraq is a result of God's curse on Eden. This curse could possibly be an explanation of rivers flowing sporadically, as well as most of the land being inhospitable to life. Could it not? Next is claimed that though God wants blood for... Next, it is claimed that though God wants blood spilt for him, Satan wants more. This is the reason why so many murders are committed in Iraq. I'm sorry, but it sounds much more convincing that God wants blood more than the devil, even Kent Hovind spouts this, and there are more murders in the United States than in Iraq. Most fundamentalist Christians will readily admit that the United States is more wicked than Iraq. I mean, look at drugs, support of homosexuality, premarital sex, crime rates, abortion. The United States seems worse off in the eyes of God than Iraq does. Notice the serpent in the name of Allah in Arabic. So the serpent must be part of my being because there's an S in my name, and S looks like a serpent. Or people named Walter have more water weight since W looks like waves in the ocean. Your logic's a little flawed there, buddy. Then there's some flashing of pictures that are less than a second long. Why? Maybe Venomfangx was trying to see if subliminal messaging works, and it didn't for me. Next, there are pictures of ritualistic bloodletting by some Muslims. The bloodletting is in the pictures is a practice of homage to a Muslim martyr. Christians used to and still do this stuff all the time. Traveling bands of priests would whip themselves to pay penance for the sins and the sins of the people in the cities they traveled to. Christians in the Philippines still put on the crucifixion ritual, complete with nails through the hands and feet. The narrator then claims that there are signs of the times. Jesus must be returning any second now because the evils from the days of Noah are everywhere. We're still waiting on Jesus. All of the evils found in the days of Noah have been rampant since history's been recorded. Jesus should have been coming down from the clouds every 5 minutes to make sure things were going straight. Is there confusion in Iraq today? These arguments astound me. There's confusion in the whole world. I was confused about the specifics of red and blue shift the other day. People are confused about their sexuality and gender. India is confused about how secular their government should be. Pakistan's confused about whether India is going to be bombing them any second. Next, the narrator brings in Nod building the Tower of Babel for some reason. This is proof that the first false religion was around. And then he asks, "Do you see towers in Iraq today?" Is he serious? Look at all the Christian churches. Practically every one has a tower, whether they have a bell on it or a pretty little cross at the top. What about skyscrapers? Are all these buildings that are over 5 stories tall trying to reach God as a false religion? Then he makes the geography of the Middle East look like a beast-like figure resembling a puma or a panther. Do I even need to say how imbecilic this is? With this logic, we should be able to find trillions of gemstones in South Carolina since it's shaped like a diamond. And Indiana, Minnesota, and Louisiana should have the best shoes. And Michigan and Maine should have the best mittens. This video is complete crap. That's about as much cursing as you're going to get in this. It's absolute horrible lies and just trying to find evidence where there is none. I hope you enjoyed my first serious video, and you guys go have fun.